Hi, this is Tracy Brown with Lindy Stamp Gang, and I've had lots of questions from you guys as far as our products go, so I thought I would do a little demonstration of the difference in our Starburst line. This is our new packaging for the Starburst line. These are actually the Starburst sprays, so they come in sprays. So that's our new packaging. It comes with our color chart. This particular one is the autumn leaves, and it also comes with a tips and tricks chart as well in there. So that is that. Then when you order Starburst stains or sprays, you will get something that looks like this. The sprays come with this blue label and the new ones have the black cap. The Starburst stains come with a dauber cap, which is a kind of a paintbrush type top, and it always has the pink label. So that's what they come in. They do not come with any liquid in them. They just have the product. There is a binder in there. There's also something in there that we're going to call our anti-stink stuff, because if you use some of these sprays and let them sit for quite a while, sometimes they get an odor to them, and after going through many different chemists, we finally figured out the product to put in there so that they stop stinking. So we've done that. So that's how they come. When you go to use them, you will fill them with hot water up to the fill line, or approximately the top of the label. Use nice and hot water. Let them sit for a good 10 minutes or so, and then you are ready to go. You're going to want to shake them every time you use them, and these guys I've not used yet, so you're going to see that for the first time. So I'm going to start with our Starburst stains, and you can see here, actually I'll come closer so you can really see. This is the dauber cap. It is, you can see that it's got a hairy cap. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit out, push down, and you can see I can paint with him. Or one of my mom's favorite technique was to whomp him, because then you get that beautiful Starburst effect. You can do him whomping with the painting so that you get some texture along with the paint. But that is the Starburst stain. Next is our Starburst spray. And again, I'm going to shake him up. I'm actually going to use this old, beat up old cardboard box here that looks horrible. But I'm going to use him to show you that you can use anything you want. I prefer not to get stuff all over my work surface, so I just use this to use as a spray box here. A lighter weight cardstock. It's not a super thick one. We're going to just try it. I'm going to overspray. You can see I get this stuff all over. I'm going to spray and spray and spray. Then I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to kind of move it around. So you can see this particular one, once I let it dry here all the way, is just a nice, beautiful, rich, almost velvety look to it because of that secondary color on there. I want to show you the difference that the card makes, the actual paper makes. This is kind of a matted paper. It's got a finish to it. I don't know if they're calling it a clay coated finish, but it's not a glossy. It's more of a matte finish, but it definitely has a really smooth, shiny feel to it. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, same exact color, just so that you can see, and I'm going to spray the heck out of this guy. I still have almost a full bottle in here, so it barely uses any of the product to do this. But when I use my heat gun on this guy, you can see wherever I kind of move the heat gun around, I get holes and textures. Sometimes the paper even bubbles to add more texture. But you move it round and round. The more you move it around, the more texture you end up with. I could add a little salt to this, just table salt, and it would also cause it to speckle up even more. If I did use the table salt, you'd want to let that air dry, which I'm not the most patient person, so this technique works really great for me because it's relatively quick. If I spray too much, then it's obviously not as quick. But you can see that I'm not drying one half of this, because what I want to show you is that I can get this just gorgeous textured effect with the sprays, or I can also take a paper towel and just kind of daub it on all over here. And my texture becomes a lot less. I'm going to use my embossing gun to dry it just so that I can do something else to it here for you. But I wanted to show you the difference between the two. And you could even rub this out even more. I hate to rub it all the way because that secondary color that's in there ends up leaving as well. So now I could use this just as it is. Obviously I would cut it into smaller pieces. Okay, so I'm going to grab my scissors here. And I was going to show you this guy, how he turned out. Just beautiful. You could use him as he is. You could add one of the filigrees that we have to him just to use as your background there for color. That particular filigree was embossed. This guy is not embossed, so it's a little more subtle. Make a card. I can use this for a background on a scrapbook page. I could use it to cover a box. All kinds of options, but it's very, very textured. This guy here that we have is the one that I did that you can still see that it has some of that gold. There's a little texture because I dabbed my paper towel. If I had rubbed it, it would have been a much more smooth finish. So it's kind of what you're trying to get and what you like. And then again, our regular cardstock has this really almost suede look to it that is again beautiful. The nice thing about the coated paper is that right now I can sit down before it's totally 100% dry, and I can then use my Starburst stains and go back on here and do a wallop, as many wallops as I want, to get that Starburst look. I'm going to dry these just a little bit because I'm going to show you something else. I could leave them like it is. Actually, I'll do half of it as they are and the other half with my other technique. Oops. Now my paper's bubbling. That's the only thing with these coated papers is they like to bubble up a little bit. My other fancy technique uses embossing powder that I happen to have in a big tub, which is why you're going to see me sprinkle it on here. But you'd put it on just like you normally would. And I'm just putting it over those Starbursts that are still wet, getting rid of the excess there. And then I'm going to emboss those guys, and it just gives one more dimension. And this one I want to be a little more careful with because my paper, this coated paper, it's going to do it anyway. It likes to buckle up on me, which is fine. The color I've been using all along, I don't know if I told you, is the Jazzy Jivin' Purple, which is just a beautiful, beautiful color. Here he is when I just did the Starburst over the top. You can see that I'm now jazzied all over my fingers as well. So I could use this as my background. I could use it just as a foreground even on a card. It would be beautiful. And then you can see here where I've done that embossing, you can see I used Angel Wings Mauve. So it's a really subtle, clear embossing powder with a secondary color which happens to be purple. And so you can see that it has a lot of texture. So I'm going to cut those two guys in half. And you know, if I were really being... So here is my embossed Starburst sprays. It is with a filigree over the top. I could do it with a non-embossed filigree over the top if I wanted to. I could use the other side of the filigree if I wanted to. So you've got tons and tons of options. Instead of doing that, I could use a embossed and cut out little, our polar bear. So just adding that texture on the background makes your background really neat. Now you can see the difference here without having the embossing powder on there. So you've got tons and tons of options. So hopefully I have explained well enough the difference between our Starburst sprays and our Starburst stains and given you some new ideas to go and play. Have fun!